at 6. An atmospheric river set to bring rain and fierce winds and a messy morning commute. We'll check in with people around the Bay, making sure the region is ready.
We are getting really busy.
Plus, the House votes to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history.
My friends, let's get this done.
We'll break down the measure headed to the president's desk.
I think the American people got a raw deal.
And later, robo-taxis on Bay Area freeways and at one of the Bay Area's major airports. We'll take a ride to test the new service and see how visitors are reacting to the news.
Maybe my grandkids will like driverless cars, but not me.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening and get ready. Tonight, the Bay Area is bracing for an atmospheric river that will really start picking up overnight. So the winds are already whipping along the coast. This is what it looked like earlier this afternoon in Santa Cruz. You can see just the choppy waters right offshore. And in the North Bay, some showers have already started moving through. We saw plenty of neighbors. They were loading up sandbags this morning. So I want to bring in Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan with the timing and what this storm will bring us. We're getting ready.
Kind of similar to the conditions we had last week. In fact, the strength of it in terms of just the amount of moisture flowing overhead, almost exactly the same. A little more rain this time. I think the winds might be a little bit lighter than last week, but it's still going to be an impactful event, especially for the morning commute. We'll send Jules out of here and take a look at the radar replay over the past couple of hours. And a few showers are dotting the radar at the moment, but a lot of this is evaporating on the way down. So seeing a few returns over Napa County and then from South San Francisco down the peninsula. But again, other than a few sprinkles, some brief passing showers, things are largely dry at the moment. Here's Futurecast, though, as we head through tonight into early tomorrow morning. Things are really going to ramp up after midnight. Don't be surprised by a few showers this evening or the very early hours of Thursday morning, but the more intense rain is going to hit the coast before the sun comes up, with some of the most intense rainfall occurring across the entire Bay Area right around the peak of the Thursday morning commute. So we're worried not only about too much rain in a short amount of time. This is the excessive rainfall outlook from the Weather Prediction Center for tomorrow. And all the yellow, which is most of the Bay Area, indicates an elevated threat of at least a localized flooding risk. But we could also hear a few rumbles of thunder. The Storm Prediction Center has outlined much of the Bay Area and that possibility of thunderstorms on Thursday, especially as the heaviest rain is falling. And we're also going to be tracking gusty winds, a wind advisory in effect for most of the Bay Area right along the coastline, including all of San Francisco. That's a high wind warning. This is where wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour are more likely, and that could result in some stress on the power grids. Have everything charged up tonight before you head to bed. This is all going to be associated with an atmospheric river that is likely going to rank as an AR3 on our 1 to 5 scale. So that's a moderate strength atmospheric river, kind of a balance of beneficial rainfall, but also that threat of too much rain and that wind damage as well. We will take a look hour by hour at Futurecast past tomorrow morning, coming up in the full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Paul, I know you'll be busy. And so all over the Bay Area, it was a busy day for people whose job is to make sure homes are ready for the wind and rain. And as Paul mentioned, the morning commute could be rough. Amanda Harry joins us live from an overpass on Highway 24 in Contra Costa County with more. How are things looking now?
Right now, the weather is pretty calm. There's not much wind. It's very comfortable out here. No signs of that storm upcoming, but it is coming. If we take a look at 24, we can see there is some traffic going on there. Expect even more congestion for your morning commute. I spoke to people all day about how they're preparing for this wet weather.
David, make sure there's not any leaks from the corner over there also.
Gray and overcast skies are good news for Nir Hadari, owner of Sunshine Gutters.
We are getting really busy now. The phone is like overflowing with calls.
Hadari has owned his business for more than 2 decades. He knows as the weather starts to turn, that's when people remember they need to clean their gutters.
Everywhere, of course, yeah.
I caught up with some of his crews on a cleanup in El Cerrito. They're working all day, going from home to home, trying to get everyone ready for the incoming atmospheric river storm. Hadari explains there's risks to ignoring your gutters.
Well, if they don't get the gutter clean, and they can have a lot of water damage, and this is really bad because it could go into your basement, into your foundations, create mold and mildew,
which could result in thousands of dollars in damage after the storms. At PG&E, Regional Senior Manager Jeremy Howard says they're also preparing.
And the winds are usually what cause the problems with respect to power. So oftentimes tree branches or trees that blow over into our lines will lead to outages.
So before the rain rolls in, they're positioning their crews.
We have actually an AI learning model that we're able to pair 30 years of outage data with to be able to predict where power outages will occur. And we're able to pre-position our crews and our equipment in those locations to be able to respond faster to serve our customers.
They're hoping these efforts will prevent anyone from being in the dark for too long. While some of PG&E's work doesn't get underway until the rain is here, Hidari has to get all his work done beforehand. And while most people wait for the wet season, he says it's important all year round.
If you have a lot of dry leaves in the gutter, it's a fire hazard. So it's always good to do it on time also.
Again, the rain is really supposed to pick up tomorrow morning. That means people still have a few hours to do some last-minute preparations and to schedule in some extra time for their commute.
Yeah, good advice. I wonder where you'll be tomorrow evening. We'll have to see the contrast from tonight to tomorrow. All right, Amanda, thank you so much. And of course, we'll be tracking this storm and all of the weather for you, the fallout on air and on our website, kpix.com. You can also stream us on the free CBS News app. All right, now to a developing story out of Oakland. A student was shot at Skyline High School. It happened this afternoon. Our chopper was over the school earlier as police arrived, and we're learning 2 people were taken into custody. Our Andrea Nakano is live at Skyline now with more on this investigation and how the school district is responding. Andrea.
Well, Juliet, the shooting happened just before 1:30 this afternoon. The district says that officers were here on campus within minutes, and when officers arrived, they started first aid right away until the paramedics got here. Now, the district says that the school was put on a lockdown to ensure the students' safety as police investigated. Police were able to get information from the victim that led them to 2 suspects. Both are also kids, and they have been arrested. Police say they also recovered 2 guns. Now, we talked to 2 students that didn't want to be shown on camera. They say they felt pretty safe regardless of everything that was happening. They added they were confident that their teachers were on top of the situation. The district does a lot of work to prepare for these type of incidents, but it's always unnerving when shots are fired on campus.
Anytime that this happens in any kind of environment, whether it's a workplace or a school or any other kind of institution, it's going to shake the kind of the core of the people that are there. And it certainly has shaken our students, it's shaken our staff, it's shaken our families, certainly.
Now, Sasaki adds that they are working with counselors right now to come up with a plan for tomorrow. School will be open and the counselors will be here to help the students cope with everything that happened here today. Jules?
All right, Andrea, thank you. All right, now to some breaking news on Capitol Hill, where a historic 43-day government shutdown is now closer to being over. Within the past hour, the House passed a bill to reopen the government.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed.
Republicans used their slight majority to get the bill over the finish line. It now heads to President Trump's desk. He's expected to sign it 6:45 p.m. our time. The vote brings an end to a stalemate between Democrats and Republicans. The bill funds the government through the end of January. It extends funding for SNAP benefits for a full year and reverses shutdown-related layoffs of federal workers. The agreement they struck does nothing to address the expiring health care tax credits, which had been the Democratic Party's key demand.
We believe as Democrats that health care has to be a right, and a right that's affordable and available to every single American in the United States.
Republicans voted a collective 15 times to open the government for the people, and the Democrats voted that many times to close it.
The Senate had already passed the measure earlier this week. Well, it takes some time before we get full relief from this shutdown. The FAA announced flight cuts will stay at 6% for now because more air traffic controllers are coming back to work. An alleged road rage incident in the East Bay is now a murder investigation. Police identified the suspect as 37-year-old Martin Davis Jr. He is set to appear in court tomorrow morning. Now, this happened Saturday evening in Castro Valley. Authorities responded to the area of Wilbeam and Norbridge Avenues, where they found Jason Alola severely injured. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. Alolo was a businessman from Tracy and a father of 9. His son said he was driving back from San Francisco with family when a truck hit the back of his car, leading to the deadly confrontation. A vigil was held Monday night to honor his life. San Mateo County officially has a new sheriff. Sheriff Ken Binder was sworn in just about an hour ago, 1 year to the day after a report was released alleging misconduct by former Sheriff Christina Corpus. Corpus was removed by the Board of Supervisors in October. She says she's done nothing wrong. New Sheriff Binder was most recently the interim police chief in Gilroy. Before that, he spent years working for the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office, becoming undersheriff. He says he wants to provide stability to a department that's been in turmoil.
I want to provide stability of leadership so that the people in the organization are empowered to work out of their skills and talents to do what they're here to do. We're going to make sure there's accountability so that they do it the proper way.
The Deputy Sheriff's Association released a statement saying they look forward to working with Binder to rebuild the agency. In San Jose, police right now are looking to identify a suspect in a series of car break-ins. More than 100 cars were burglarized in 3 or 4 multi-residential garages, according to police. So take a look at this. This is a photo from a surveillance camera showing who officers are looking for. The suspect is wearing what appears to be a black Nike hoodie, has tattoos on his hands. Police say they will release more information on the investigation as it becomes available. Still ahead, right here at 6, Waymo announces a major expansion to Bay Area freeways and the San Jose airport. We're going to test out a new route and gauge the interest of potential customers.
I definitely consider it, especially if it were priced right.
Plus, parking about to get more expensive at some BART stations. We'll have the new numbers. And later, how a construction crew is brightening up the days for children recovering at a Northern California hospital. By now, a lot of people are used to seeing robo-taxis all over Bay Area streets in places like San Francisco and the Peninsula. But Waymo just got the green light for some uncharted territory. Its autonomous cars will start giving rides on some Bay Area freeways and even to the airport. So our Kelsey Thord caught a ride to see how it's working out.
Starting Wednesday, Waymo riders in the Bay Area, specifically up and down the peninsula, from San Francisco to San Jose, will be able to ride on the freeway as well as get picked up and dropped off at the San Jose airport. We were lucky enough to be one of the first people to take a Waymo to SJC. We rode along with a Waymo representative to see how the trip would work. San Jose International is the first airport in California to have Waymo curbside service. Our car took us to the drop-off area, located right across from the international terminal. It was a slow day at SJC, so we didn't see any other travelers booking or arriving in Waymos, but we did catch up with a few people to ask them their thoughts about autonomous vehicles expanding service to airports.
I definitely consider it, especially if it were priced right. I would probably prefer a human driver, especially in a city that I'm new to, but I'd take a Waymo.
I would prefer to have a human. Sorry robots, but no. Maybe my grandkids will like driverless cars, but not me.
San Jose is just the second airport in the country to offer Waymo service. The other is Phoenix Sky Harbor. Waymo says it's in the process of testing service at San Francisco International Airport and hopes to add them to the list of airports soon. When it comes to rides on the freeway, while service is available to some riders, it's not available to all just yet. When I went on my Waymo app to try and book a ride that would take us on the freeway, the app told me I'd been added to a waiting list and to expect to hear back from them in the coming weeks. Even our Waymo representative couldn't get a car that would take us on the freeway. Our ride to SJC was through city streets. The company says it is slowly rolling out access to the freeway to customers. It says more and more people like me will gain access to those rides in the coming weeks. Even so, our ride to and from SJC was smooth and easy, one the company hopes many travelers will choose to take from now on.
Well, thanks for taking us on the ride, Kelsey. As for SFO, Waymo began testing its fleet at the airport back in September, but with humans in the driver's seat supervising the rides. There will be a couple more phases of testing before they roll out rides to customers. BART is raising fees at some of its parking structures next year. So starting January 1st, fees will jump by up to 30% at high-demand stations. That includes Glen Park, Rock Ridge, and Walnut Creek. Some spots are going up more than $1 per day. Most other stations will see a 40-cent increase. A bittersweet goodbye from Muni. The transit agency is shutting down its Breda light rail trains. Over the past 30 years, the fleet carried millions across the city, from Ocean Beach to Dogpatch. Riders had a chance to catch one last trip on the J Church line near Dolores Park today. New trains now taking their place. Coming up, we were treated to quite the light show last night, but the skies are about to get stormy. Paul is back with the impacts and a look ahead after things clear up. Ooh, a magical night across the Bay Area. Our Mount Diablo Tower camera capturing this view of the northern lights just before 9 last night. A severe geomagnetic storm brought the rare light show to California's skies. Paul's here to fill us in. It looks like the stormy clouds might ruin the chances of a repeat tonight, but how gorgeous was that in parts of the Bay Area?
Yeah, keep an eye on social media. You'll see other pictures like the one that we're showing here from viewer Michael, who caught this image last night, but too many clouds out there for us this evening for even a glimpse. And last night you had to dodge the clouds. So clouds are going to start dropping some rain showers very, very soon. Let's take a look at the big picture perspective here. Our storm system is kind of winding up, ready to deliver that punch of the atmospheric river to most of the coast of California. The heart of the storm system is still swirling away several hundred miles offshore, but it's going to be directing that plume of moisture in our direction later tonight and through much of the day tomorrow. So let's zoom in for a closer look at the radar simulation. First, we'll take a look at the current radar view, and there are a few showers here and there trying to hit the ground, but we haven't seen anything, even a trace adding up over the last hour. A couple little blips on the radar down the peninsula, same thing for parts of the North Bay. I think we're largely going to be dry this evening, a few sprinkles in the windshield here and there, but the rain is going to start to fall with greater intensity later on tonight. Here's Futurecast through 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we'll freeze the map while the heaviest rain is just starting to hit the coast, and it's really going to spread out as we head through the peak of rush hour tomorrow morning. Here's our simulation from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., just a 4-hour time frame, but you see how widespread the rain is and how heavy the rain is. Some heavier downpours, especially for the North Bay. This is that narrow cold frontal rain band that we talk about with these kinds of systems accompanying the heaviest downpours and also some of the strongest winds. We'll track those hour-by-hour wind gusts momentarily. We'll wind the clock forward another 4 hours through noon tomorrow, and the rain becomes a little bit lighter, but it's still going to be wet past lunchtime tomorrow. In fact, off and on showers likely tomorrow afternoon, but the heaviest rain will have moved off to the east by that point. We're still going to be seeing lingering showers through tomorrow evening, so this entire event lasting a little bit longer than we initially anticipated. Some of the forecast models even indicate some lingering showers into the first half of Friday. Not buying that just yet. We're leaving the Friday forecast dry at this point, but that's something we'll keep you updated on. Let's take a look at how much rain we expect overall. We're going to be seeing the amounts generally in the half-inch to 1-inch range, with some spots getting 1 inch to 1.5 inches of total rainfall. And of course, the higher elevations of the Santa Cruz Mountains and the coastal parts of the North Bay overachieving, picking up 1.5 inches to 2+ inches of total rain. But a lot of this is going to fall in a fairly short amount of time tomorrow morning. So localized flooding, especially any flood-prone intersections, on and off ramps, those usual spots that have high water concerns, are going to have them for rush hour tomorrow morning. If you have the option to work from home, I would exercise that option. Just avoid that morning commute entirely, because that's also when the strongest winds are going to be kicking in. See some 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts, even 30 to 40 along the coast before the sun comes up. And then the strongest winds are going to occur as that heaviest rain arrives. More 30 to 40+ mile an hour gusts in place. So we have the wind advisory for most of the Bay Area with a high wind warning closer to the coast. The winds will start to back down in the afternoon, and that process will continue as we head through tomorrow evening. So all in all, not a great dog walking day. I don't think your pups are necessarily going to want to follow Belvedere into the dryer. interesting place to hang out for a large pup, but it's just not going to be a day where you're going to find many opportunities to get your canines out for much of a walk during the day. And in the Sierra, they're under winter weather advisory, only an inch or two of snow at lake level. Some of the higher elevations, though, picking up more snow and some gusty winds as well. 1 7-day forecast, because temperatures aren't going to be too different from the coast to inland, generally in the low to mid 60s, and we've got some more rain chances on the way. We're phrasing it, though, as showers possible Sunday and Monday, and again by Wednesday of next week, because after tomorrow, there's a lot of differing versions of what could happen from the various forecast models. Once we get tonight and tomorrow's system kind of out of the way, we'll be able to get a better read on what's going to happen for the second half of the weekend and into next week. Jules?
All right, Paul, thank you. And when we come back, a fun and puzzling surprise for patients at a California children's hospital. For decades, Waldo has hidden at beaches, parades, and town squares, waiting to be found between the pages of children's books. But now, he's stepped into a construction site in Sacramento across the street from 2 children's hospitals. McCarthy construction workers bought life-size Where's Waldo cutouts and hid them along the construction site between the UC Davis Medical Center and Shriners Children's Hospital as a way to keep patients entertained when they look out their windows. Crews say they drew up a plan so that both sides of the building get their own Waldo to search for every day.
To me, it symbolizes community engagement. The children that, are leaving their normal lives behind to get treatment for whatever they're battling with. It symbolizes power and love and unity as well.
I just saw Waldo. The care teams in both hospitals say it's activities like this that make their days a little brighter. Absolutely. What a great idea. CBS Evening News is next on KPIX. Local news continues on our streaming service. And we're back here in 30 minutes with CBS News Bay Area at 7. More news just for you. See you then.